Hi folks, Lee Gettess here with the Market Sense for the week of June 25th, 2013. The charts I use come from the Trade Navigator software as always, and the first chart we'll look at our weekly bond market chart. Boy, is this a bullish chart? No, it's not bullish at all. That's about as weak as you can possibly see. They've broken just about everything, including the lower Keltner channel here, and just look ugly as can be. In fact, it's difficult to find more support, although we do have a little bit here in the 132.16 area. If they break that, I think 128 might be the next barrier. You know, they've got the RSI momentum indicator pegged at the bottom here, and this much weakness and this much momentum really can't last for very long, although it's very dangerous to try to predict when it might end. Again, the support at 132.16 roughly, and resistance all the way up at the lower moving average here is about 137 and change, 137.06 I think. Very likely, after having such a large week last week and that being on top of the big move down to get to this point, very likely that we don't trade either support or resistance this week. I mean, that would make perfectly good sense. And in fact, we may have 2, 3, 4 weeks on the side here that don't do much of anything. However, I would be kind of looking to nibble on the long side towards the bottom here for trades if you see the momentum slowing, because I think some sort of bounce is probably coming. But, gee, do you think the trend's down? Yes, I think the trend is down. In stocks, we finally got the break we've been looking for. I've been talking about this middle Keltner channel for I don't know how many weeks here, and we finally have gotten down to it, which means we might get a bounce. Doesn't mean we necessarily will turn back up from here, but this is one area where it is likely to turn back up from. And you can see they've been to the lower pivot point here, which is, I believe, 1554. That's pretty accurate for creating the low there. And they're also up in the area of what is potential resistance here at 1588. Now, I know that would make for a relatively small week by comparison, but that is the resistance if they're going to continue to move down. And they certainly could. They could go all the way down to the lower Keltner below 1500 here. And, you know, I don't want to pretend that they have to bounce from here. However, I do think they will at some point. It's very rare that a market that's this strong will just turn and go down now. It usually takes a little time to form a top. I would expect them to go sideways and make a retest or two. Now, perhaps what we saw last week, perhaps that's all the retest we get. And if so, then the move down will probably be pretty substantial. But I think there's a chance we might get another run at the highs. Heck, we might even go to new highs. If we can get back above 1588 here this week, we still have more resistance around 1615 and then still more up around 1645. Both of those are very possible. You know, I think some sort of bounce is likely. It's just a question of whether it really comes from this vicinity or whether we move lower first. But I think we will see a bounce at some point here. How well that market rallies after the bounce, that's what'll tell us what the next few months should show us. And I'm kind of thinking we'll at least get a test of the highs, possibly even a new high, and then we might turn down with some real authority. So that's what we're looking at today. I sure hope you can find something profitable to get yourself into. Thanks for checking in to see what we think.